Thank you again for attending and for being here. We're going to be talking about how to turn your intellectual property into interactive tools using AI. My name is Faheem Moosa. I'm the founder of Consulting Leap. I want to start off today by sharing a couple of music analogies. For those of you who know me well, know that I am a big music fan. If I can get my slides to work, it'll be great. Okay. For those of you who are listening in on the podcast, you can go to Consulting Growth Hub. You'll see the link in the show notes to follow the visual presentation. So, as I mentioned, I am a big music fan, so I thought I'll use a couple of music analogies just to warm you folks up. So, you see on the screen a bunch of jazz musicians, and jazz is a formless, I'm told, a formless art of music where you just kind of improvise, right? So when these jazz musicians get together in studios and they start improvising, a lot of the stuff is never recorded. So what you hear in jazz records, there's probably 100 times more improvisations that have been played in studios where you simply, nobody's ever heard them, right? They've been created and they're lost forever, right? And I'm going to illustrate why this is important. And I was also reading a story about the Beatles, like John Lennon and Paul McCartney, prolific writers, and they had a famous notebook. And most of the songs in the notebook, they wrote the songs, they've composed the music, but never released. You see, creators have that problem. We create a lot of things as we're building something of value, and a lot of that stuff simply gets lost. And so that is, it's not a waste because it's part of your process, and it helps you use that piece of art or that piece of that whatever you've been creating for a specific purpose. But then what do you do with it? You don't do much with it. And that's what happens to us consultants. Consultants, we create a lot as well. We are problem solvers. We go into organizations and we solve problems, and a lot of the times we end up creating frameworks and tools and little workshops. So we deliver them as a one-off. We may deliver a quick model. We come up with a quick model to solve a client's problem, and we'll never use it again. I've been creating content, for example, on LinkedIn for years, and sometimes I'll create a model to illustrate a point, and that model could be useful, but I don't use it again, you see. And when I do coaching as well, I create something and it's just stuck in a video somewhere, or it's stuck in a folder somewhere, never use it. Type in the chat, let me know if this is familiar, like where you create something, you use it for a couple of times and then you don't touch it again. If you've written a book, right, you've come up with concepts, you've created all the frameworks, but what happens once the book is published? It just sits there. You don't use it in client situations. You don't kind of use it as a tool for business development and so on. So if this is familiar, just type in the chat, let me know, so I know that we're all on the same page. I find this very familiar. I work with a number of consultants, and I find that that's the problem as well. So that's why I wanted to present today's session, where I want to teach you how to turn your IP into interactive tools using AI. I'm not an AI expert, okay? I'm learning, but I'm curious about it. I am very interested in it, specifically for what it can do to help you create tools in your business that bring value, both for your clients and for your own business as well. One of the other reasons why I feel what is attracting me to AI is not just that it's a thinking partner, but it also saves a lot of time. And for solo founders that run small boutique firms, they're running from pillar to post and flying by the seat of your pants. So if there are tools that you can use to save time, then it's going to do your business a whole lot of good, and it's going to do your personal life a whole lot of good as well. So one of my goals is to really dive into AI, what you can do with it, what consultants can do with it, in order to help them build consulting businesses that give them, freedom, and that give them, the opportunity to build a defensible and durable business, right? So that's my interest in AI, and depending on how much time we have in the end, I'd like to invite maybe one or two of you to talk about your own experiences with AI, because you may be working on something that all of us can learn from. So type in the chat and let me know your experiences with AI. Are you dabbling in it? Do you consider yourself an beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced AI user? Just type in the chat so I know who's there, and depending on how much time we have, we can I'll have one or two of you jump in and share your experiences as well, so we can all learn from you. And again, introduce yourselves in the chat, put in your LinkedIn profile, connect with each other. This is meant to be a small, intimate setting where people can get to know each other, the consulting community can get to know each other. So, just connect, and you'll be the better for it. Right, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Faheem Moosa. I am the founder of Consulting Leap. That's my current business. I work with business consultants, solo founders, and founders of boutique firms to help grow their business through sales and marketing systems. I am a former management consultant myself. I worked in corporate consulting. I also founded a firm called Springboarders, focused on strategic planning in 2009. And I've sold and delivered more than 200 consulting engagements all across the US and Canada. And I've worked with over one-on-one with over 50 independent consultants and trained hundreds of others on how to grow a sales pipeline and consistently add new clients to their business. I also hosted the Future of Consulting Summit. Some of you were a part of that in November. And we explored how AI is impacting consulting, and I told you why I'm curious about AI. One of my goals is to decipher what you can do with AI, what AI is, and use it effectively to grow your consulting business. Right, so I'm going to stop sharing this. I'll start sharing my browser. So what I want to do today is I want to share with you a couple of the tools that I've built. One of the tools is a meta tool that I've learned to create, and I can show you. It's very simple that you can all use it in your business. What I've done is I've created that tool that will help me create other tools. So it's a meta tool. Let me share my screen. So you'll be looking. Tell me in the chat if you can see my screen, the Consulting IP Builder. So this is the tool that I've built, and all of you will get a copy of it. Those of you who are here, I will be sharing this. Let me just share this right now in case I forget later on. But just stay with me here. You can play with it a little later. I'll show you what you can do with it. So this is called the Consulting IP Builder. And if you've got a ChatGPT account, you can start using it. It'll show up in the sidebar. So what this is this is a tool that takes your framework. It could be an assessment that you've created, or a diagnostic that you've created in the past, or some kind of thinking tool that you've created for your clients. You can take that and start using this tool, and then it will design a custom GPT. Anyone here not know what a custom GPT is? Just raise your hand. I'm assuming that all of you know what it is. A custom GPT is something that I'm using right now. You can use it to do a whole bunch of tasks. In this case, what this consulting IP builder will do, it will help you create a custom GPT or help you create an app that you can use and you have your clients use as well, right? So this builder uses a specific framework, design deploy framework, and it's meant to work really fast. I've built apps on this in like less than 5 minutes, apps that typically would take much longer than that, right? What this does is, and I'll show you an example, right? And let me just open up the another tool, one of my tools. I've in the course of my consulting business, where I coach consultants, I have something called a reverse engineering, a goal reverse engineering engineering tool. What it does is it helps consultants to think about their goals, and then it helps you break down those goals into monthly tasks and daily tasks, so you know what you need to be doing on a daily basis to hit your goals. So this is a tool that I've been sharing with clients as an Excel spreadsheet. Let me just stop sharing my browser, and I'll show you what this tool is. Hang on a second. Right, so you're seeing an Excel spreadsheet in front of you. It's called Goal Planning and Reverse Engineering Worksheet. It's a very simple, very basic tool. It for a consultant, it helps them map out what their engagement value is, and then what their goals are, how many of those engagements they want to sell, and then it maps out, okay, on a monthly basis or a daily basis, how many outreaches do you need to do in order to hit your goal based on some agreed upon or assumed conversion rates. I'll just take you through this one by one so you know the context. Typically, consultants will have an assessment or an audit that they start off with, right? A discovery engagement. That's called type A in this tool, right? Duration is 1 month. The fee is $8,000. I mean, these are just made up numbers, right? Then that engagement will lead to a longer term engagement, perhaps 6 months or more. In this case, it is 6 months. The value is about $50,000, right? Then there's a conversion rate. How many discovery calls or how many discovery projects lead to a long-term engagement, right? And there's an assumption over there. What are the target number of projects that you want to do of type A? What are the target number of type E projects you want to do, et cetera, et cetera? And then in terms of your sales, how many discovery calls, I call them breakthrough calls, but how many discovery calls lead to a closed won project, lead to you winning a project, your sales conversion rate? How many introductory calls, that's a 15-minute call, lead to a detailed breakthrough call or a discovery call? And then, how many individuals or buyers or influencers do you need to reach out to per month in order for you to get introductory meetings, right? So this is a basic framework. A lot of folks simply focus on the outcomes of their goal, outcomes, and not their process. So this is a way to focus on the process. And usually I used to send this out as an Excel sheet, and people used to fill them out. Sometimes they would lose the Excel sheet and so on and so forth. But with the consulting IP builder, which I just showed you, I used this tool to create a very basic HTML app. Now, an HTML app is something that you can run on your browser. Don't get caught up, if you're not a tech savvy person like me, I'm not a tech forward person as well, but I'm just curious. But I've never coded anything in my life. I don't know how to code, but through this I could create an app that I could run in my browser, which was far more simpler. It's more presentable. I could just tag and attach it, give it, provide it as an attachment in my client portal, have my clients use it. So this is what I went through. I'm showing you my conversations with my chats with the consulting IP builder, right? Once you start using it, it'll give you an introduction, and this is designed to create tools using a three-step process: discover, design, and deploy, right? So this tool will discover, it'll analyze your framework, and help you create something called a verification table. Okay, I'll show you what that is. Then it will help you design, or not help you, it will ask you questions that will then enable it to design a complete GPT, or a single focus GPT, which is a part of the GPT, or just a one angle to it, or an app. You see? So let's explore this. So once the first thing I did was, it asked me a question: what's the main function of the framework or method? And I said it reverse engineers annual sales goals and daily outreach activity. Okay, and so it moves into the discover phase. It's gathering material, so it'll ask me questions, right? So it says, why don't you upload the tool? And then I uploaded the Excel sheet here, and then it's going to ask you a bunch of questions based on what it sees in there. I'm not going to get into all the details, but it is asking me questions about that tool so that it understands it better. And it's asked me a bunch of questions here. I've answered it, and now it's showing me inside the tool, and it's clarifying a few things. What's inside the tool and clarifying a few things. And so then it says, if everything looks okay, I'll convert these into a verification table. A verification table is nothing but just a table of all the inputs, all that's required for that for this tool, and it's asking me to kind of verify line by line if everything is okay. So here it says, does it need a consultant review? And I say yes or no. And I just check all of these things. And if you know the tool, all of this will sound very familiar to you, right? If right now you're looking at this and saying, like, what am I even looking at? I don't understand it. This is my framework and my tool, so it's easy for me to understand it. If you have your own framework, all of this stuff will be super easy. And then it asked me conversion rate. It asked me a couple of questions about what the conversion rate means, what project A and project B are. Goes through all of this stuff, asked me a few questions, and I just answer yes, confirmed, yes. And then I've decided to go with an HTML app. It asks me, what do you want to do? Do you want a complete GPT where it creates something like this, which is a chat based application? Or do you want a single focus GPT? Perhaps we work only on one portion of that complete app. Perhaps we work only on the discovery portion, the discovery project portion. I'm just making stuff up, but it asks you if you only want a single focus GPT or an HTML app. Okay, so I've chosen an HTML app, and then it gives me the entire code. Now, I'm a complete Luddite. I've never coded in my life. When I look at all this stuff, it just makes my head spin, gives me vertigo. So I don't want all this stuff. I don't want all this code where it's giving me some instructions to copy paste this code and put it into some other framework, put it into some other box, and then deploy the app. No, I don't want to do all that. I just said, just give me the downloadable link so I can run in my browser. I want the inputs on one side of the app and the outputs on the other side of the app. And it says fine, and it gave me the link. So this entire process took me about 5 or 10 minutes to do. It's really simple. And so I downloaded the app, and this is what it looked like. This is the basic first version of the app. It gave me, it's the type A, type B, the conversion rates, inputs from the user. And so, I had some comments on this. I went back to it in another chat, and I said, change this and change that. And then it gave me version 2, which looked like this. and version 2 had a lot of some other unnecessary fields that I felt was making it super complicated. I gave it some more feedback, and then I finally settled on this version, which I felt was exactly what I needed. It was clean. It's something I could send to my clients as a version 1. Of course, I can keep iterating on this and keep making it better and better. But what it did is it gave me something that I can use straight away. So let's do a small demo. Let's say the discovery, it's asking me to input the value of a discovery project, let's say $10,000. The value of a follow-on project from a discovery engagement, let's say it's $75,000. The conversion rate, discovery to long-term project. I would say that every time I do discovery, I would get, 10% of those would turn into a long-term project, let's say 10%. And then target number of projects. I want to do a couple of discoveries every month, so I would say 2. And then so conversion rate, that is your breakthrough call, which is your needs assessment call to a closed one. I would say 20% of those turn into clients. Conversion rate of your introductory call with a prospect to a detailed call, I would say 30%. Then it asks me conversion rate, your outreach to an introductory meeting. I would say, let's say 10%. How many working days in a month? That's 20, right? So with these assumptions, it gives me the outputs. So based on these assumptions, the type B projects is 0. Let's increase that. Let's say the assumptions is, let's do 30% for discovery to long term. Oh no, I've said instead of 20, instead of 2, or 20, I've added 2. No wonder it's not showing anything. Right, so I fixed that. Instead of 20 projects, I added 2 projects, so it didn't show any numbers in here. So now it shows, for these assumptions, your total revenue goal is $650,000 a year. For revenue for project A is 200K, project B is 450K based on these assumptions. And then it tells me the actions required, right? Per day, after all of these calculations, per day, I need to do 14 outreaches. So my marketing plan has to accommodate 14 outreaches per day, right? So that puts this in perspective. When founders plan or consultants plan, they look at the outcome, but they don't plan what is required on a daily basis, right? So this type of reverse engineering will help you see what is required on a daily basis in order for you to hit your $650,000 annual sales goal. So some of you may be thinking, you could just do this in an Excel spreadsheet. Why is this even important? It's important for 2 things. One is it helps me learn how to create simple apps. Number 2, this is only a version 1. I can always make this much better. Right now, this version 1 does not have a save feature. Typically, what I would suggest for clients to do is take a screenshot, right? It doesn't have a save feature. The third reason it's important is that, it gives a better customer experience because now you're using tools that are, that are simply, you click those tools, it'll show up in your browser. It is simply a better, cleaner experience. And like I said, this is just version 1, based on feedback, I can keep improving these tools, and so the entire client experience just becomes better, right? Cool. So just let me know in the chat if this is useful. Any questions? It's good to see folks connecting in the chat. Keep doing that. Yeah, let me know if this is useful, and if you have any questions. If any of you want to jump on later on, the last few minutes, and share with me what you folks are working on, share with us what you folks are working on, that would be helpful. Okay, so this is one application, right? This is a calculator that was based in Excel that I decided to create an app out of. Okay, so now I want to show you another example. You can create written, other types of IP that you have. Now, what I do, from a business development perspective, the way I reach out to new people is I don't reach out and connect on LinkedIn and then pitch and say, let's get on a call. That's one of the worst things you can do. It's okay to reach out to people that you don't know, but you want to reach out and be a person of value and simply open up a conversation. They may not be ready for a conversation on the chat, but that's fine. But open up a relationship. I'm not saying open up a conversation where you pitch them, but you want to open up a relationship. And one way to do that is to offer them and ask them if they want to read something of value, or they want to use something that I've created. And one of the ways I do that is through offering a white paper that I've written. This is a white paper. It's probably in its 4th year or 3rd year, and it is a comprehensive 26-page white paper. As you can see, it's called the Consulting Growth Blueprint: How to Add 100K to 500K in New Revenue in 12 months or less. It outlines my process of how I help consultants. And it has examples, it has frameworks, it has a step-by-step action plan, and it tells you my philosophy of growing a consulting business and how I think about things, the frameworks that I use and the frameworks that I recommend consultants to use to grow a $500,000 consulting business. Okay, and so when I connect with people on LinkedIn, the first message that I send is something to the effect of, I connected with you because you have a consulting business, and I was wondering if you're interested in reading this report. I've started a consulting firm before, and I've worked with 200 plus clients. Would you be interested in reading this comprehensive report? Some people say no, that's fine, but some people are interested, right? And the feedback that I've got for this report has been, really good. So that's why I still use this approach, and it gets me, it helps me build relationships. So I'm just going to quickly go through, this full report. This is available. You can, if you want, just send me an email. I'll send it to you. But what I started to think was, this is a report, right? What else can I do with it? Like, can I take these concepts, because it's pretty comprehensive. It's not just it's not a 2-page report. It's a 25-page report. Can I take these concepts and put it together in a tool that I can engage prospects further with, or I can just use it in my client delivery, within my program itself. So then I started kind of wondering, what if I use the Consulting IP Builder to create a tool out of this white paper, out of this piece of content that I've created. So let me show you that process. All right, so here's what that looked like. This is the chat from that process. And let me just show you the app first. I don't have it over here. I'm just going to open up. But essentially what I did was I used this entire process to create an app called the 500K Consulting Roadmap. Let me just share that with you. I had 2 versions of it. There it is. So the 500K Consulting Roadmap is nothing but a dynamic version of that white paper that I just showed you. This is what it is. So it says, I help independent consultants and boutique firm owners grow their revenue 100K to 500K 12 months using a proven step-by-step system. I provide worksheets, templates, and interactive guidance to implement a successful client acquisition strategy, right? So all the stuff that's in that PDF is now a part of the knowledge base of this app. And then I've also incorporated, I'll show you what it looks inside. If you go edit to GPT, I've also incorporated some worksheets from my that my paid clients use. So it's not just the oh, I don't know where the PDF is, but I was trying to update it today and it probably didn't show up, but I'll add the PDF, the consulting blueprint. But you can see the knowledge base. It has other worksheets as well, right? And you know, I began to use it, and it you know, after a few iterations, it started kind of, you know, providing very good information and output. So what I also did was in December of last year, I conducted a boot camp, and some of you are, you know, attended the boot camp and you're here as well. And so I used this, I helped those participants use this tool to do the work in the boot camp as well. So you see, I created this tool in order so I can use it for outreach as another, you know, piece of IP that I have. But I also used it for a boot camp, a 3-day boot camp, which you know, participants used, and they gave me some good feedback on this tool. And now it's also incorporated in my regular program as well, where clients can use it, and of course I'll be guiding them and having them, you know, get them unstuck. But this has multiple purposes as well. It helps my client delivery. It helps me with one-off workshops to provide something new, and it's going to help me in outreach as well, where I'm going to connect with people either on LinkedIn or anywhere else, and I'm going to open up a conversation saying that this is a tool that I built. Here's what it does. Would you like to take it for a spin? If it's no, it's fine. If it's yes, you know, I'll send it to them. Then we can, you know, I'll initiate a conversation at some point. And if they're ready to kind of move, they're curious enough to know what I do and want to, you know, jump on a call with me, then that's all done very smoothly and seamlessly. I don't have to convince anybody. I don't have to pester anyone. I don't have to have, you know, do 10 different follow-ups. And so that keeps my pipeline going, right? And the more of these pieces of thought leadership that you have, the more content that you can create that is useful, the more useful you're going to find that in your outreach process, because people are curious, right? If you have a new way of doing something, people are going to get curious, and they're going to if they're in the mood, or if they're going through that specific problem, they may take you up on that offer, and that could lead to a relationship, right? So it's not just about the tool, it's about how you come up with the idea based on whatever your clients and prospects are going through. You bring the intellectual horsepower into this process, and the consulting IP builder will apply its process to create that for you, create that tool for you. So now what I'm going to be doing is, you know, with this IP builder, I'm going to be making a single focused GPTs as well. I'm going to be you know, creating GPTs on how to create a consulting offering, just a single focus. You can do it with this an overall app as well, but I want to create more detailed GPTs that my clients can use. I'm going to create messaging and communication GPTs. I'll be creating, you know, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile based on, you know, the knowledge that I have and the knowledge and the results that I've seen. So it's going to become proprietary. And so what's going to happen is, you know, client delivery is going to get faster, right? Already I'm getting feedback that delivery has become faster, and, you know, they're able to do faster work. So you can really improve your client experience with this as well. And like I said, use it as a business development tool. Um, cool. So any questions so far? Just type in the chat. I'm going to go to the 500K roadmap and share with you, my conversation that I used to build this app. So I say, this is a white paper I've written. Give me ideas on how to make this a mini course. And also, can you help me create a custom GPT out of this, right? So then it gives me some ideas, some course title ideas, structure ideas, and then it's just a simple conversation beyond that. I mean, I wouldn't say simple. There was a lot of back and forth on this. There was a version that I created before. I had to kind of chuck that and create a new version. So there was some back and forth, but then it's a creative process. And consultants, like all of you in the room, consultants are generally creative people, right? They're problem solvers. If you're not a problem solver, you don't tend to become a consultant. So I know that consultants, and if you chose to become a consultant or an advisor, you're a problem solver, and problem solvers are analytical and they're creative. So creating a process like this, or going through a process like this, even though you may need to go through a couple of iterations, it is a creative process, and it is something that is enjoyable. It is it's like a puzzle, trying to do this and put this together, and it's super interesting, right? And when you look at the benefits that I've talked about, it's really worth your time. So then we have this conversation. I try and kind of tell it, direct it on what I want and what I don't want. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that in the end, this consulting IP builder, if you're building a custom GPT, it's going to give you the exact step-by-step instructions that you simply cut and paste and put it into the knowledge base or the instructions field in your custom GPT. So when if you want to create a custom GPT, you want to go to the GPT section here, go to explore. I think I've got one open here. Or go to the explore GPTs and go to create here. And then just fill in these fields, and there's an instruction field here, right? This IP builder will give you the exact step-by-step instructions where you just copy paste and you put it in here, right? And then it'll like prompt you on conversation starters. You can go back to, if you have any question on how to fill these out, just go to custom IP, consulting IP builder, and ask the question. It'll write what you need to do, and it will just have you cut and paste that and put it into these fields, and that's it. You have your version 1. Like I mentioned, the HTML app was created in about 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a very basic app. It's not super sophisticated, but still, like, you can create something like that in about 10 minutes, and it has value. Imagine what you can do with more stuff. Like, there's in advanced custom GPTs, you can connect outside apps into your GPT process. Right? There are ways to do that. I haven't gone there yet, but I'm going to learn how to do it. And so that way you can kind of automate a lot of processes using ChatGPT and some of the other outside tools that you use. Maybe you use a CRM, or you use an email marketing software. So right now I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to figure out, okay, for these sessions, this consulting growth hour, I've done 75 sessions so far, and it's mostly a manual process. Thinking about the topic, figuring out what might work, writing the copy. I mean, I use a ChatGPT, but I do it manually. Now, what if I create a GPT that can simply do this in a much more automated way? It has instructions. I put in some ideas. It asks me questions. Then I finalize a topic, and then it creates the promotion emails. It creates the LinkedIn email for me, and then or the LinkedIn post. It automatically creates a campaign in my email marketing software. Then I check it, and or my assistant checks it, and they hit schedule. Right now, my assistant is doing all of this manually, but my next step is to try and automate this. Let's see how that goes. So if you get some weird emails, just know that I'm experimenting. Okay, don't hold that against me. All right. So just looking at the chat for any quick questions. Okay, so Bob says, how do you keep AI from sharing our IP? Now, that's a good question. And right now, this is an open system, right? So you're going to share this AI, share your IP, and you never know where it's going to go. But if you really want to, protect your IP, there are ways to create closed systems. And Bob, our mutual friend, David Brock, is doing just that. He's creating these closed systems so that he can use them with clients and ensure that those are all large corporations. So ensure that their IP is protected and so on. But right now, I'm using these open systems, it's not protected, but it helps me understand the process. And at some point, I will explore the closed system as well. So Annie says, I could be wrong about this, but isn't it possible to keep the chat private? Like is that a question on privacy, the chat, or is it a question of?
It was, I'm sorry, that was in response to Bob. I was
Okay.
basically just, I think that, you can sort of keep it in a container so that it's not exposed to the rest of the world.
No, but then, if you're using.
As in what I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish your thought.
I think as in what Lori was saying too is that, not to learn from the chats and not to expose it. It's not public information. I was responding to, I should
Okay,
have
cool.
done a reply, but it was in response to Bob's comment. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think that you can keep the chats private, but then it's still going into the ether, right? It's not. It's going into Chat GPT's overall knowledge base, and it's there. But yeah, people who are there are folks that are building open systems, closed systems, and I think that will become more of a thing. And then, of course, when I get into that, I'll do a session on it perhaps. So if you want to do this, then yeah, you got to create this chat. If you want to create a custom GPT, I've showed you the process, and this tool is going to give you the step-by-step process. So try it for maybe a framework that you've created, or some kind of process that you've created, and test it out and see if it works for you. I'm going to open it up to questions, or even better, if anybody in the audience has created different tools, used ChatGPT or the other LLMs. Like, I'm not familiar with with Gemini. I'm not familiar with Claude. I use Perplexity a little bit, but if there is insight into what you can do or what you have done, just type in the chat, or you could just come on and just have a chat about it, and let everyone else know. So think about that. And if not, then if there are any questions, I'm happy to kind of answer this. Would you like a copy of that 500K roadmap? I'm happy to just type in the chat, and so all of you can use it. It's a free tool. That you can use, and the folks listening in on the podcast, you'll see the link to all of the tools that I mentioned in the show notes. So go ahead and do that. So any questions so far? Can you share GPTs? Yeah, Catalina, that's what I'm doing. I've shared the other one, the Consulting IP Builder. I'm going to share it again for those of you who came late. And I've just shared the Consulting 500K roadmap, sharing
Do
the
you
IP builder
create these
again.
tools for your clients, or you intend to mature them and then sell it as a standalone item without being your clients?
Yeah, I could do that as well. So one of the other ideas is to use um, these tools and run some ads, have a basic landing page, run some ads, and get people in, and have a small fee, maybe 50 or 100 bucks, and that kind of that's an established advertising model where you have a low ticket product, you run ads, and that low ticket product covers the cost of the ads, and so people come into your world and your community, and from there a certain number of people will be interested in hiring you for your or joining you on your main offering, right? So perhaps I could do that. I have thought about it, but I have it's not a priority for me right now, but definitely yes. If there's a tool that's really useful, and it works, I can do that.
I mean, the 500K roadmap, um, if you were going to put it, offer it outside of your network, is there any way you could control who can have access to this?
Who has? You mean if people share that with others?
Right, right. Like, for instance, this is your product. So 500K roadmap is a product, like you go in buying a license for a tool, any other CAD tool, right? Like where you go in with MATLAB,
Yeah,
you're trying to get a Microsoft Office. You're paying $500 and you get certain level of access to the tools for a certain period of a time. And the your usage. If you try to go outside of the any constraint, they won't let you. For instance, if the
yeah,
tool is good for 1 year, after that it expires. You can't use the MATLAB anymore.
yeah, yeah.
So the question I think I have is, can you do? Does the environment that you're using the chat GPT can allow you to do that, or that's something else needs to be figured out?
Yes, that's something else that needs to be figured out. I don't know how to do that yet, but it's a good question. People can buy the tool off of me or and share it with others, like they share their Netflix passwords. That is
Right.
definitely possible. But there may be a way of fixing that problem. I don't know what it is yet.
Yes.
But yeah, it's something to think about. But so thanks for that
Right.
question.
The HTML version that you have, you may have ways to control it.
Okay,
If
yeah,
you,
yeah. The HTML maybe, yes. Maybe
yeah.
put it
So
up,
you
put a password
basically,
behind it or something. Yeah,
right, right. So there is a user interface. You have to log in before you get to that thing, inside
right.
privately.
Yes.
If I could
Cool.
make a
Thanks for that.
suggestion?
Bob, you had your hand up?
Yeah, just a quick suggestion.
Sure.
You can control member access through your website. So if you have a
Okay.
landing page, your own website, there's something called paid member subscriptions. I think that's the plugin that I use. It could be a little off on that wording, but it's a way for you to control, and it's free to use. It's a way for you to control who has access and who doesn't. You can also put a paywall in front of that.
Okay.
So if that way you can keep the bots away through the paywall. You can keep people that are just out there trying to grab stuff, randomly by doing that nominal fee type of thing. But again, you can control all that through your website. It's not that hard to do.
Is
Yeah, so I
that
think that
is it part of the environment that you're using for the website, or is there something it's a like a, what do they call it? You have to pay for uh, that feature, the paid feature.
It That is a free plugin for WordPress word sites or
Okay.
WordPress websites.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
now
I'm
that you've
using.
mentioned it, Bob, I think that I've seen that on Dave Brock's website where he's offered a chat custom GPT, but you can only use it. It's part of the website where it's embedded into the website. So I think that's a good suggestion. Yes.
Yeah. And you can set it up so you can have You can give away codes so they can access it for free for certain people if you want to, or you can
Yes.
use a paywall to actually control. There's all kinds of things you can do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Shahram, if you get a website, WordPress person to help you, they'll be able to figure all this out. If I mean, you're a technologist, maybe you will be able to figure
Yeah,
it
I
out.
think
But
what Bob just, the answer Bob gave, I appreciated. Yeah, I think he already laid it out. It said plugin. So
yeah,
I would have to install the plugin, then it's there, fairly simple to use.
yeah. Once the plugin, what is the name of the plugin again, Bob?
I'd have to
Paid
look it up.
members
I
subscription,
think
I
it's
think.
called paid members or something like that.
Yeah, I think
So
we'll have to
it's
search for it.
yeah, I'll have to look. I can share it with you later so you can put it out to everyone.
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
good.
Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
All right, so I hope this has been helpful. We have time for one more question. If not, we will conclude. If any of you have not got the tools, just hit me up. I will send it across to you. And I hope you use them, experiment with them, and give me some feedback. Let me know what's working, what's not working, how it can be improved. I would appreciate it. But thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. I'll see you at the next Consulting Growth Hour
Thank
session.
you.